Trustee Hernandez, Trustee Eno, Trustee Vella,
Good.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I continue to the representative reports? Sure. Do any of the members of the resource table wish to be recognized at this time to make public comments before the board?
Good afternoon, trustees, everybody. My name is Max Arias. I am elected executive director for SEIU Local 99, Education Workers United. And around me are our members who work at LACCD. Today here, we stand united, demanding respect, demanding that you respect our work, demanding that you value our dignity. Our members are dedicated, as you know, to ensuring that students and faculty can actually teach or learn, whatever the role is, in clean, safe, and supportive campuses. They go above and beyond. During COVID, they were here, ensuring that the campuses are clean, safe, and supportive. And their work is valued. And I don't think there needs to be a strike to show the value of work. So we're here with you, here standing with in front of you with our members, just letting you know that it is imperative that you fix this. There is too much harassment of our members. They are followed by their supervisors. They are surveilled by the supervisors consistently. In fact, in some instances, they're physically assaulted by their supervisors. And when we demand that this stop, they just double down. This is unacceptable, completely unacceptable. We urge you, this is the first time we come and talk to you. So this is a time for us to urge you to listen to our demand and heed it and do something about it. If you don't, our members will continue to demand respect as they need to, and we won't stop until that is given. Respect is not only wages, benefits, and working conditions that are adequate, which, by the way, we'll have a conversation about those later because they're not adequate. It also means respecting the work that they do. So that is why we're here today. And I just, so I'm just trying to this is my first visit, so I'm really trying not to act incensed, for lack of a better word, right? Because this is the first time I see you. But this is urgent. And I want to let you know that this is only the first step. And I'll be here. We'll be here again next month, right? Hopefully we'll be here saying, hey, things are going good. But if not, what you're going to see next month is more of us. And our members here are not alone. There's 50,000 of us in Southern California. And when some of our sisters and brothers are struggling, all of us will descend down to demand respect for them. At the end of the day, all our members want to do is continue to do the work that they do to serve the students, faculty, everybody that works here so that they can actually do the work in peace and dignity. Because when we fight, thank you. Here we have a petition, I think it is, right? You want to send the petition? So that you can look a little more at the specific instances.
You can give it to me. Thank you.
The specific instances of what our members are going through. So I urge you to act now, and I urge you to act in a decisive manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Would anyone else from the representative table like to speak?
Tall girl shoes today, so I'm extra tall.
There you go.
There we go.
Wear it well.
Good afternoon, Board President, and to the board, Chancellor Rahman. I'd like to just start off by saying that I stand in solidarity with our sister union, Local 99, and with all, as well as Local AFT 1521A, in regards to, and I actually want to thank Chancellor Rahman as well for inheriting a lot of this and really taking a very progressive stance on hearing non-supervisory unions, talking about some of the issues that we are seeing. I would like to start off by saying one of the biggest ones was really looking at how classified are treated as we're moving forward to this SRP, and what is that going to look like with the workload we encumber. Another big issue that we are looking at right now is how ADA accommodations are handled, right? Looking at the board policy, looking at federal and state law, looking at what is undue hardship, how is that codified in your board policy? How does that transcend down when you have a district-wide ADA coordinator, worksite coordinators, and we're like Rome, we grow. There's very much a big capacity to oversee, inheriting the unique differences of each worksite in community college district. But what we are seeing across all of them really is how this process is maybe not congealing or cohesive. So we're okay with the decisions, but what we're not okay with is not understanding the decision or the accountability ensured. Like we saw the report on our disabled populations, it's not just physical. Ethnicity and diversity is not just ethnic and race. It really is our diverse disability population as well. And we saw in that presentation, I believe from the EEO, that we're really low in that caveat. And you have to think about having an invisible disability, a mental impairment, which is how it's stated. And as a social worker, I'm like, I cringe on that one. But disability is a part of our diversity in our community. And when someone is coming and they're bearing their disability, here it should be supported because we support our students who have disabilities. That's why the DSPNS department exists. That's what we should also give to our employees. Now, not everything someone's going to ask for is going to be within reason. That's what undue hardship should be. But when you look at federal and state law, it's primarily on monetary, causing a burden monetarily wise. But what we're seeing is a lot of denials or insensitivity. We've heard, well, it's not like you have cancer. We've had people who can't write and they're not being trained on how to file their paperwork properly. Yeah, it's that sad. We have people who are in jeopardy of losing their home because they weren't told about how to do their FMLA paperwork, ADA paperwork. These are things that the district is supposed to educate on. It is a responsibility to educate. So when you look at trainings and you see how and when's the last time those who are over said positions have not been trained since 2021, you have to question then, how do you make your decision? And why is that information not trickling down so people can make the right paperwork and file it the right way? How do you make that compliant with state and federal law? How do you handle people ethically and not impact their HIPAA violations when you call their supervisors to say if this accommodation is reasonable for your department and not predicated on staffing ratios, right? So we stand in solidarity about respect goes both ways. It's not about your classification. We're not elitism in that way. We should not be. We all serve this district. And so we say, as we're looking for this SRP, to also be mindful that disability should be supported here. It should be celebrated here. And that those processes in which you render a decision should also be ethical. You're not dealing with a person that can be thrown away. You're dealing with people who have anxiety, depression, who don't want to share. But we have people showing their medication, their prescription, because they're begging for help and no real true guidance in some ways. And we can't say, oh, there's a board policy, read it. That's 10 pages of information, right? That's dense. And as a psychology major, we had to create a consent form that was based on verbiage that people can digest. You have to make sure that your intention is to educate so people can do it the right way and stay in compliance. You don't arm and weaponize that so people don't know, and you can predicate your decision on, well, you didn't file it right, right? So we want to bring that up because that is the biggest crux that I've seen, but I would like to thank the Deputy Chancellor, the Chancellor Rahman, for really taking that on, saying how do we look at this and repair that? So I do appreciate the conversations. Classified still really are looking to make sure that we safeguard against supplanting in any kind of way. I know some people don't believe the term exists, but it does. We support making fiduciary responsible decisions, but not at the staffing levels where we're asking people for more. We can't break people, okay? 9 times out of 10, we go above and beyond because we love these students because we watch them across the stage. And I've had the blessed opportunity to work clerical from the welcome center, welcome, 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 80 times a day. Let me do your application. and working with diverse populations, to actually working as a specialist in CalWorks, working with disadvantaged populations, and also actually teaching after getting my master's degree. So I see it from all different levels, and I see how everything meshes well when it's done right and with the ethical lens of pushing this forward. So Classified thanks you. I thank you, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here representing District Academic Senate. Angela Echeverri is not here today because she's in Santa Clara, the Future Seminar, where the hot topic there, as they do every year, this time is artificial intelligence. So I just wanted to comment on that a bit. As you know, we have a District Academic Senate AI task force. We have groups on policy and procedures. We have a group on professional development, one on syllabus, curriculum, and assignments. That one in particular needs really a lot of work, extra support, because there's so much happening in this field, right? From opportunities to incorporate AI into the skills that are needed in the workforce, which really applies to so many disciplines. We really do need additional support there, faculty coordination support, but also to address some of the misuses of AI that sadly some of our students are stepping into, and really it's detracting them from how to use AI to support their learning as opposed to as a substitute. We had a virtual summit on August 22nd. I see David Vela, trustee, thank you for joining us there. And we had an amazing event, over 700 attendees. It was truly a partnership with administration and in terms of the webinar setup and presentations as well with faculty, and not just in our district, but in the region, working with the Los Angeles Regional Consortium, the Power of 19. And they definitely were true partners in this event. And it again speaks to the challenges, right, that we see on the horizon with respect to AI and how we really do need to get ahead of it. We have faculty who are exceptionally skilled in their craft, have been supporting students entering the workforce, and now some of those academic areas really need some retooling because what's happening in the industry is changing, right? And it's not just obviously in consideration for our faculty members, but also for our students, right? We want to make sure that when they graduate, they get certificates, it's going to be meaningful to what's out there on the horizon. It's changing so fast. So again, like I said, we really do extra support there. Also want to talk about another summit. Every year, faculty through the district administration and district academic senate, and then in partnership with the LACCD administration, holds an annual joint summit. All right, so we have that scheduled for Friday, September 26th at the beautiful campus of West LA College. And that's under the theme of planning for change. And we're planning for up to 300 faculty and administrators once again to gather. And in this case, we'll be touching on topics from federal state outlook in terms of legislative fronts, the new district strategic plan update, AI opportunities and challenges, SCIF and scheduling efficiency, curriculum challenges such as Common Core numbering and replacing Illumin. And I want to thank Kelsey Eno, our trustee board president, for agreeing to be there and give help with the welcome remarks, and of course the chancellor and all of the administration that is working in partnership with this. I also would be remiss as a political scientist not to make note of the fact that next week, right, we have Constitution Week. And that's when we all seek to promote our understanding of the Constitution. Key principles, right, like limited government, separation of powers, checks and balances, sadly, as we all know, are in jeopardy, are being challenged, are being abused in a way, right, by a president who too often is not faithfully executing the laws. I mean, may sound very political for me to say that, but it's actual fact. Laws passed by Congress say that you can't just get rid of civil service, and we've seen wholesale firings of people, and that's just one example of many violations of due process. But I draw attention to that because it also helps to, I think, inform a resolution that's going before the District Academic Senate tomorrow. It's as an action item. And it's a resolution recommending actions to end intimidation and retaliatory practices in the LACCD. I mean, we recognize, right, that we work better when people feel safe, right? When they enjoy coming to work, and most do. But sadly, too often, that's not the experience. And it's just, obviously, I'm speaking here as a faculty leader, but of course, we were reminded moments ago by our colleagues in the staff areas, right? That this happens too often, and where we don't have that fair treatment that is at the hallmark of due process. We have concerns that, you know, maybe all of the steps of the collegial conversations at the start, going all the way through progressive discipline, have not been exhausted before it's a rush to dismiss somebody. Now, we recognize ground is being covered in this front. Okay, we applaud. We're so thankful that with new district leadership, you know, learning from my union about the progress on resolving grievances, and so I mean, we're hopeful. We're hopeful that we can move forward on this. But I will say that you know, it was March of last year when we had a resolution expressing our concerns about the use of third-party investigations to intimidate and retaliate against district whistleblowers. And after that, we still saw a continuation of activity. We saw in May of last year at the District Academic Senate meeting, a faculty leader speaking out, and then the next Monday, getting a notice of investigation. And I'm thinking specifically of Erica Miller Tate. She years of experience, you know, positive evaluations, and now talks of dismissal. Is that always the solution we gravitate towards? It is, if there's an opportunity, I plead to trustees, if there's an opportunity in situations that come before you, where there hasn't been perhaps all of the steps exhausted that you would want exhausted in terms of progressive discipline, if there are other options short of dismissal, maybe suspension, you know, I plead that you help set the tone for the rest of our organization. You know, again, if there's less options available, or also if you know, you're learning that there's been premature investigations, that maybe the investigation started way before they should have, or maybe even unwarranted investigations. Right, we're particularly concerned because we also have you know, not just faculty attending our DS meetings feeling this fear of retaliation, but also even DAS members too. So yeah, we come to this topic not simply to express the frustrations and concerns, but also to recommend that perhaps providing the chancellor the authority to you know, provide standardized training to administrators to really help ensure that everywhere throughout our district, we know for a fact that we will always be following progressive discipline. It may be the most common occurrence, but it's those instances where things are short-circuited that we start hearing, right, of all these problems. And also to direct the chancellor to develop those clear and consistent guidelines for the use of ELR investigations to prevent over-reliance on such investigations, and to ensure that they are not used for intimidation and retaliation. I know a lot of good work is being done in this area. I want to applaud that, but at the same time, asking the board to provide that extra support where possible. Thanks.
Thank you.
I want to thank my colleagues for their previous words. I'm not going to add anything to that too much. What I am going to say is that I am grateful that we are starting to move forward as a district on a lot of these disciplinary actions. We were able to sit down with the chancellor and his team, with our team of our attorney, as well as our chief grievance officer, Armine Javadian, and knock out 18 grievances in one day. All right, grievances that were supposed to be going to arbitration, that would have cost the district money, would have cost us money as well. We were able to settle those. I also want to thank the Deputy Chancellor for continuing to work with our Chief Grievance Officer, because with that, they've been able to knock out additional grievances. So we are starting to move forward. Is there room for improvement? Yes, of course there is. All right, but we like to see this progress continue. But I do want to talk about something more than this in this moment too. I think that this has been really helpful to have an administration now that we can work with, because this is a time when we need to work together more than ever before. This does not mean that we are not going to have disagreements in the future. I'm sure we will, but we need to keep a focus on what's happening to our district coming from the federal government. And yes, I don't care, honestly, if it does sound political, because it's not just political, it's personal, right? And as the sociologist C. Wright Mills said, political is personal, right? And what I mean by that is right now the federal government is talking about cutting all funding for minority programs that aid minorities, right? All funding, which would be tens of millions of dollars to our district, hundreds of millions of dollars to our state. I remember my sociology professor at Cal State LA, good gentleman, good friends still today, Bernie Burke. Bernie's white. Bernie went to UCLA in the 1950s, and he used to ask us, do you know how much it cost me to go to UCLA? And we said, no, we thought thousands of dollars or something, or hundreds of dollars. He said, $12. $12 student fees to go to UCLA. And at the time, I was at Cal State LA paying $39 a unit, less than what we pay today. All right. And it seems since 1947, Mendez versus Westminster got enacted, and later 1954, Brown versus Board of Education got enacted. They've made it more and more difficult for people to go to college since people of color were allowed into these institutions. And we need to be clear, we are the #1 target that's going to be sought out by the federal government. We can try to think that we can fly under the radar, but we can't. And the reason why is they do not want our students to go to college. They've already said that to you, and they've made it clear when they said that immigrants take Black jobs. And later said immigrants also take Latino jobs. And what are they doing? They're deporting undocumented workers who do a bunch of work as exploited labor in this country that no one really wants to do, especially for those wages. And they're saying those jobs should be ours. But I'll tell you, as a Black man, we are not going back to the fields, we are not cleaning your houses, and we are not taking care of your children. You need to get that straight. And a lot of Latinos who have come here and worked their way into the fabric of this country refuse to do the same. But they want to leave our communities with no choice but to take those jobs that will shorten their lives and damage their bodies while they make profit off our backs. That's what this is about. We can have our internal squabbles, we can have our external squabbles, but they need to shrink in. We need to come to resolutions on them quicker so we can focus on protecting our communities, our students, our faculty, our staff, and yes, our administrators as well. This is the most important and crucial thing we can do. Our district has never, ever been under this kind of assault. Never. So we got to be ready to fight. And I'll tell you right now, I'm ready for this damn fight.
Thank you. Any other representatives wish to? No. Okay. Let's see, where am I? Should we circle back? Or we can do update at the meetings. You, David, are you okay? No, okay. We'll circle back to the Lavina.
I'm available. I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah, we have two trustees to ask related to the Levine Act, whether or not there are any conflicts. Trustee Walnut, you were not in the room, but I wanted to ask to see if you have any conflicts related to today's agenda for the Levine Act.
None.
Thank you. And Trustee Vella. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. So now we will go from reports from the board. Trustee Vella, please summarize the proceedings of the Legislative Public Affairs Committee that you chaired on August 20th.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, President Eno. Obviously, on top of the agenda was the federal update from Holland and I, our advocates in Washington. And, I'll just quickly summarize. Obviously, the district has been, as we just heard from Mr. McKeever, been monitoring and really being proactive about ensuring that our DIA, our minority, our programs, our HBCU, our colleges that utilize some of this funding to ensure that our students have access to education, that, the district has been working really hard to ensure that these programs are not severely removed from the district. As we, navigate this, we're also working with the state legislature to ensure that we have the availability of state block grant money to kind of fill into some of these gaps. I can tell you that, it is getting increasingly more dire, and the targets, it's really more a matter of time. The federal government was kind of waiting, doing extra, I think, homework to see where they can kind of come in and create some obvious, cuts to community colleges. Obviously, they started with the private universities, with the federal dollars going into research, into Harvard, into Yale. And so we're slowly seeing that they're looking at ways to cut funding for us. So we're extremely diligent in ensuring that not only our advocates, but the trustees, the chancellor, that we are being vocal. We've had continue to have various meetings with our federal representatives, been having very robust conversations with also both of our US senators to ensure that these cuts really do not affect us. I'll spare you all the details, but you will, see some of these kind of requirements and or, prohibitions from the federal government on some of the stuff we do, the lavender graduation for LGBT, trans outreach, all of that stuff, we really can't use federal money. We're looking at, again, very proud of the district securing through the state budget, the block grant money that we're going to be using to kind of fill some of those gaps. On state policy, really doing really well. Just had a great meeting with our staff on Tuesday. A big bill of notice is AB 323, Assemblymember Mike Fong, which would allow for workforce development money to be used for internships and other business that really needs the help. And what we envision with that is that then our students could step in and utilize some of these dollars. So for example, if we have a business that is not doing well, hopefully they'll be able to apply for some of this workforce dollars for our students to be either an intern, a pre-apprentice, an apprentice. So we're working with the trades, we're working with industry to ensure that this happens. So again, want to give a lot of credit to Dr. Roman, Maria Veloz, just the advocates in Sacramento have been working, I'm talking extra hard to put some of these policies and bills together. Of note, we also have, I think, kind of common thread throughout the community colleges of all of California to really support basic needs. I think you guys have all seen that lately on our social media feeds and, throughout local television and news. This is, again, really trying to fill that gap so that our students do have transportation, do have, ability to have, food, and again, basic needs. Housing is really at the top of the list for the state as well. So we're really working hard to ensure that some of these things and some of these related bills do get signed by the governor. And then locally working with the Board of Supervisors on ensuring that, our foster care youth have access to our colleges. We're working hard to ensure that all of the programs that are related to homelessness also are, our students are able to utilize those. At the city level, we're working with the mayor, with all the city folks to ensure that our students are part of the conversation when it comes to jobs for the Olympics, jobs for the World Cup. It's a very, very heavy agenda, but I do think that in how we think about moving in the future, really having that independence from the federal government is, a lot easier for California. And we're very, very lucky to have just, champions in the state legislature, champions in our local government, county board, city council. And, I think we can all agree, President Eno and Chancellor Roman, that, we are all working in partnership for this. Of note, I know some of you saw the email. We are, yesterday, did the city council approve the
That was today, actually.
Today.
oh, today?
Maybe Trustee Hernandez, maybe during your report, you can report on that a little bit? Okay.
Okay, so Trustee Hernandez report on a motion the city did in regards to just facilitating a part of our student housing program. Again, I could go on and on. There's just too much, but that's it in a nutshell.
No, I thank you. I think the task of this committee this year has been particularly insane. And thank you so much for holding it together and fighting for our students and our campus community. So thank you so much. And foresight.
I
I
want to
mean,
thank you, President Eno. I really want all of you to know that President Eno took a sabbatical to really focus on being board president. I have to tell you, yeah, no, seriously, I don't know how you do it because, it has just been a really, I'm talking like, we can all agree, just unpredictable day by day for the Board of Trustees. And so President Eno has really been able to narrow in on some of these really important policies, but also want to give credit to Chancellor Roman because he came, inherited the whole district quickly, briefly, and then we had to like literally roll out, from protecting our students to funding our students to ensuring that there's enrollment. And so I want to thank you both because it's appropriate. Thank you.
we've all risen to the occasion and we're doing our best. Thank you so much for that report. Trustee Hernandez, can you please summarize the proceedings from the Facilities Master Planning and Oversight Committee that you chaired on August 20th? As well as what you did earlier this morning. Thank you.
So at the FinPOC meeting, this last FinPOC meeting, we had an update on student housing. I think one of the things that I'm really proud about the district is that we are not just dipping our toe into housing our students that are housing insecure and homeless. We are really jumping in fully and exploring a whole portfolio of different ways that we can house students. And one of those ways is through an RFP that we opened up to bidders earlier this year. And that was a request for acquisition. It was a request for acquisition. And so it was existing housing products. So this is housing projects that are already built that the district would acquire. We got an update from our consultants at the FinPOC meeting. We had a total of 84 submissions, which is very high. There's a lot of interest in selling the district existing housing that we can then immediately use to house students. 32, they've gone through a whole process from the submission, which due date was April 30th. There was a compliance review. And then after that compliance review, staff looked at each proposal and did a proposal review and technical analysis. And so from that evaluation, there were 32 that did not meet the minimum requirements and 24 that met minimum requirements and merit further analysis. There was also another 28 that were considered Class C, which were projects that weren't technically built yet, but were in the process, or are currently under construction. But those 24 that met minimum requirements on existing projects, we have staff that is currently reviewing that, and we will have the board will be updated, and our LACCD community will be updated as we get further down that process. But I just really wanted to commend staff and the district for working so hard on this. This is just very like one sort of bucket in our larger effort to house our students. We are still looking at conversations with the Cal States and some sort of collaboration with either Cal State Northridge or Cal State LA. We are looking at making sure that our RFP that will go out to solicit community partners that can help us build housing on our existing land will go out by the end of this year, this fall. And we're working on that project as well. So there's a lot of work going on. And just to tie that in, I think people are taking notice. We were at City Hall just today because Councilmember Yaroslavsky had submitted a motion directing city departments to do what they can to assist not just LACCD, but LAUSD and Metro in realizing housing projects faster to serve Angelenos who are in desperate need of housing. So that was exciting, and we testified along with Dr. Sada today in favor of that motion. So that's it. We also had a report on sustainability. You don't want to, don't want to give sustainability second billing, but it was a great sort of update on all of our sustainability efforts here at the district, and we got an update on that.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing too. Just as a side note, it's been truly amazing to serve on this board for 3 years because we were able to have a bond be passed to carve out the funds to do this work. And so I think just the board has been extremely busy and diligent in advocating for all of this. And hopefully you can see all the work we're doing. It's not visible yet, but there's a lot of things that are happening. So thank you, board colleagues, for all of that, because housing is essential for our students, and we're really trying our best to push it along. Student Trustee Francis, could you please summarize the proceedings from the Student Affairs Committee that you chaired on August 8th?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. August 8th, I had a great meeting, had a full board meeting present. It was very short because I know we didn't have a lot of meetings to go over for the July month, so we worked with what we had. So I did update them on the food stamps to be active by September 1st across all campuses and at least 2 locations located on their campuses. All presidents were presented with a SAC binder that I had created for them. Each president has a SAC binder that has to only do with SAC meetings. It's the first time we have created something like that, so we can have a study guide to now hand over to the next president in line after them, or if they stay in that position. We also went over the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Thanks to Betsy, she kind of broke that down with the child tax credit of how pretty much single parents will now be getting extra money on that financial aid that should be already active coming in the fall. I have created the President's Retreat. So I was going to actually cancel the President's Retreat, and I explained my reason why to my president. So my president was like, "You're insane for trying to cancel that, where we want it." So it's going to continue to happen. We have picked a date, which is September 13th. It will be hosted here thanks to Chancellor Deputy Nicole, who will be providing us that lunch. It will be set from 10 in the morning to 1 p.m. The leadership retreat is mainly focused on building skills through real life scenarios, what that leadership looks like, and then understanding what leadership they have installed so they know how to communicate and learn how to discipline themselves while they're working with other people that may not have the same leadership skills as them. We're also going to go work over what does legacy look like and how to build that. We also are going to go over characters, teamwork and collaborations. We also going to go over blindside items, stuff where you might wake up one day and walk into, prepared for, how to prepare for that, how to maintain calm and, maintain confidence. I also wanted to give a shout out to President Dr. Culpepper. He's the president rep for our committee, so I appreciate him on that. I also wanted to shout out LASD for their sheriff's personnel help. For this, over the month of August, of September, we went to all of 9 campuses, and I was able to meet and greet each sheriff on each campus, all the way from top to bottom. I even was able to see a couple staff, couple of my presidents that was may have been on campus that day. They were very excited to see me. They said as long as they work in there, they've never seen a trustee in their life come up and greet them. So that they were really excited for that partnership. They welcomed me back, and they're excited to see me again this month for another checkup. So I'm very excited about that. I had a lengthy August, was very, very busy. August 11th was the ride along. August 15th to the 17th, I was at a trustee retreat in California, and I got an invitation to be a part of the student trustee advisory committee. So now I'm on that committee on the state level of meeting with state trustees to now have the information. I'm very excited about that. August 20th, I was able to attend all 6 committees hosted here until we find a student rep. I enjoyed every moment of it, and I also want to shout out to everyone who was very accepting of me at those committees as well. Thank you. I learned a lot. August 22nd, I was invited by President Angela to be a panelist on an AI summit. It went really well, shocked the community. Every voice on that panelist was amazing. And then following into September, I was able to meet with the LASD again. They was able to give me a Nipsey Mental Bus Pass card. I am a student that's a part of the Mental Bus Pass program, and I'm honored to be given a Nipsey Hussle Road card of that. And I want you guys to know that I will cherish that. And that's pretty much what I have coming up. Oh, one more special thing. 2 more days, September 12th will be our first SAC meeting hosted out of this facility. We'll be at LACC. There's flyers all. We're expecting a huge crowd to come out. People are excited that they're going to be able to meet the higher ups and meet other presidents in our sister campuses in this district. So I'm very excited about that. If you guys would like to attend online, I can provide a Zoom link. You're welcome to pop in and pop out. If you want to share some remarks, you're also welcome to share some remarks as well. I'm very lenient. Me and Betsy do our best to make sure everybody's voice is heard in a timely manner. So you're welcome any time of the day, and I'll keep you guys monthly update on the next school we're going to each month as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a lot to update us on, so thank you. Trustee Bona, would you please summarize the proceedings of the Student Affairs Committee that you chaired on August 25th?
Thank you very much. We had excellent representation from our general counsel and staff regarding updates. We had excellent representation from our students. Again, lots of answers with regard to safety, and I congratulate Chancellor and our Deputy Chancellor and all the staff in making sure that our students feel safe in an extremely difficult environment. That was it.
Thank you. Board travel authorization. May I have a motion and a second on item F2?
Proceed.
Yes. Oh, sorry. My bad. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry. Trustee Vella, could you please summarize the proceedings of the Institutional and Effectiveness Student Success Committee that you chaired on August 20th? My bad. Crossed out.
Thank you. The committee heard 2 presentations. Well, actually, one is a recommended item they'll be making to the full board, and that's the mission statement and strategic educational plan for East LA College. And the committee, from the mission statement to the overall sort of dynamic that was presented to the committee, the committee's recommending approval of that to the full board. Next was our information on a continuing review of CTE programs throughout the district. And this time we had Los Angeles Mission College and got a chance to do a deep dive into their bachelor's program and biotech. Am I getting that right? So got a chance to really take a good look at one of our newer programs and the partnerships that have been designed there with business leaders and companies to really track our students from learning to on the field credit to basically careers. And so it was a really strong and positive presentation, really highly successful program that Mission College is endeavoring in, and it really shows in alignment with the needs of the economy out in the San Fernando Valley. And so congratulations and kudos to LA Mission College for that. So that's the update.
My apologies. And then also, I will also circle back to Trustee Vella, who did the Basic Needs Committee, if you wanted to give a report out on that one as well.
Yeah, just really quick, we went over our foster youth programs for the district. I'm very happy to report that we have very strong programs that were currently in place, including Next Up, Guardian Scholars, and then also, again, working with the county to ensure that we have communication over this population. And then also the committee really did find a priority to ensure that our foster care students have access to our future student housing opportunities and current programs. So I think that went really well. And then we had our regular basic needs coordinators from each of our colleges do reports. Again, very happy to report our basic needs centers are thriving. They're doing really well. I think a lot of our students are finding a lot of interest in it and the ability to access some of these very vital resources. So very happy to report on that. And then we went over some of the basic needs bill. Ms. Maria Veloz came to present AB 79, AB 90, SB 271, and SB 761. And yeah, that was it.
Great. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for that as well, please.
And President, also I'll add that Spectrum One ran a story on Los Angeles Valley College's Basic Needs Center. Amazing story, by the way. Kudos to President Gribbons and your team. You have an amazing group over there, like the other colleges. So they had actually showcased a trans student who is, experiencing some basic need issues. And our own very own Trustee Vella was interviewed as part of that. So we'll put it out through social media. You'll see it in the next few days, but I wanted to showcase that as well. Again, basic needs are prevalent, top priority for us, in addition to some of the other main issues that we're dealing with. But kudos to the team at Valley. And again, thank you, Trustee Vella, for being part of that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Dr. Ribbons, your staff and the people in your office were extremely just so welcoming and very cognizant of, the students, the reporter there. So I just want to give you kudos. It was a very easy experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so now I will move to board authorization. May I have a motion and a second on item F2?
So move.
Moved by Trustee Vella, second by Trustee Hernandez. Roll call, please, Lupe. Oh, any discussion? Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student Trustee Francis, advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna. Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes,
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis. Thank you.
great. Resolutions. First is to adopt the Board of Trustees goals for 2025. May I have a motion and a second on item G1?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Hernandez,
Second.
second by Student Trustee Francis. Discussion. I think I'd just like to say thank you, particularly to the Chancellor and Deputy Chancellor for really helping facilitate this board goals meeting that we convened. I think it was really well done. Based off of how our district is moving, we kind of have a clean slate to really build a strong infrastructure for the district with our priorities and our goals and our board goals. And it was really nice because we also got the district strategic plan that is now aligned with our board goals, and just everything that we're doing and as an institution, I think is flowing a lot smoother as far as our identifying what our needs are and where we're moving. And so I just want to say a huge thank you to the two of them because they really helped cultivate that. And then a huge thank you to my board colleagues because we were really engaged and we offered a lot of good insight of where we're moving We adjusted our cycle to move along with the district's academic calendar. I think that'll also provide good continuity for the board as we transition from one board president to the next board leadership. I think there's a level of grace and acclimation for as we move up roles, so it's not too chaotic or disruptive for how the district is led. And so I just really want to say thank you to everyone. And I know all the board presidents, all the college presidents were in attendance too to help really participate, and all of the folks that did present to us. It was really helpful and thorough, and I feel really proud. So thank you everyone for that. Anyone else want to say anything?
I have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I think you're leaving yourself out because you're instrumental in the facilitation. This was your idea to bring us together. The alignment of the goals with my goals, the board goals, the district's goals, I think makes a lot of sense. The change of the cycle. I felt like this was a very productive and valuable session that we had. I thank the board again, but Madam President, you were the lead on this, so thank you. We need to give you and recognize credit as well for you. Thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, just mainly to help steer the ship, but with all of our expertise and the passion that we have, I think we're good. And at least together we will hold the fort down and do our best to steer. And so this tool, I would like to call it, that the Chancellor and Deputy Chancellor created for us, it's wonderful. It's very clear, and I think it'll help us a lot as we move through these challenging times. So with that said, Lupe, can I get a roll call, please, to approve the Board of Trustee goals for 2025?
Student trustee Francis, advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buona, trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yeah.
trustee Vettis. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so moving on to resolutions. Celebrating Mexican Independence Day and Hispanic Heritage Month, which is September 15th. May I have a motion and a second on item H1? So moved. Moved by trustee Hernandez. I can second. Trustee Eno. Oh, sure. Trustee Buona would like to second. Any discussion, colleagues?
I just have
Please.
really quick. So,
No.
part of the monitoring on the legislative committee is the Supreme Court decision on being able to, I don't know. It fluctuates, but I guess if you're brown or, whatever, the ICE agents might think you're not American enough or whatever that was. I still haven't read the decision. I'm going to be very honest with you, but I do want to send, true solidarity and real, true, heartfelt love to the Mexican people that inhabit this planet. They are people. Just want to remind folks about that. And I just wanted to, whether there was independence from Spain or France or Cinco de Mayo or September, let's remember that the Native American population of the state of California, as well as the Native American population throughout the Americas, has been here for over 2,000 years. And even Mexicanos like myself are half, I don't know, there's somewhere, right, Professor Buona, somewhere we have some Spanish mix in there. Who knows what we are? But what I can tell you is that, I am proud to be a Mexicano. I'm proud to be an American because I could be anything I want because I'm in this land, that land. I go to Puerto Vallarta a lot, just FYI. But my point is that, I just really wanted to give an anecdote. When I worked at the Board of Supervisors, the Supervisor Gloria Molina, and we did the Mexican Independence Day Parade every year. It's the largest. I mean, people go there. I think, Dr. Perez, you guys participated at East LA College this year. I'm going to tell you that it is a well-deserved celebration of a community that has worked hard in this country, the country that was before. And so I just want to ensure that people understand that regardless of whatever you want to think, people deserve respect.
Yep.
People deserve respect. So I'm very happy to support this resolution. And I know my colleagues have a lot to say. So but thank you.
Please, trustee Buona.
Yes, thank you. So I think it's in terms of understanding the decision that occurred yesterday, right? And I wrote a whole article and it's going to be published tomorrow. is that since Plessy v. Ferguson specifically, this is the first time that racial discrimination has been agreed to by the Supreme Court, right? And specifically, there was a 4-part test to it, and with regard to reasonable use. And you know, I don't make it a habit to read all Supreme Court cases, but this one in particular, it almost writes itself in terms of an article, because in terms of reasonable use, they said, if a person works in construction, landscaping, restaurants, other stuff that they said, if they work in quote unquote low wage jobs, right? If they look, what is it? Apparent ethnicity, new word alert. For I had not heard of that word, apparent ethnicity. Maybe something's wrong with me, but it's in there. Then, so if you're apparently of Mexican descent and Central American descent and speak Spanish, so it's a 4-part test, then you're okay. Then what was interesting is that Kavanaugh voluntarily wrote this concurrence, voluntarily. He didn't have to. Now, why am I taking up time from LACCD meeting to talk about this? Because how many of our students potentially meet a description that is similar to that? And what this means in terms of actual discrimination, and it's going to be huge. In terms of Trustee Vela stole my speech, so I don't appreciate that, Trustee Vela. But in terms of our independence from a colonial power, Spain, during the, I always remind people that Mexican Independence Day included California being independent from a colonial power. But in terms of this decision coming down, it's not, some people might say, well, I'm not Mexican, Central America, it's not going to affect me. They laid the foundation for, if you're of Asian descent, if you're of African descent, and you may fall under some circumstance, it's foundational that the Supreme Court, and it's logical that they could then take that logic and put it onto something else. Now, is that going to affect us at LACCD? It could, right? Because ultimately, yes, there's no affirmative action. You can't use race on that, but you can use race on this. And it will have a foundational effect on us, since, the administration wants to remove Hispanic serving institutions and all of that. So, Trustee Vela, I just wanted to piggyback and add, since you did a great foundational job on that, to add to that. So, as I don't find it, here's where I'll differentiate. I don't find myself needing to defend whether I was born in the United States and an American citizen. The fact that the U.S. Supreme Court did that, I'm going to say very proud. I'm glad and I'm proud that I'm Mexican, and I don't apologize for absolutely anything. And thank you very much. And I'm not saying that you are, by the way, but I don't need to say anything that I already am simply by my existence here.
Thank you. Well said.
But by the way, you can't see borders from space. That's FYI.
Except for the Great Wall of China.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which was built during a time period of tariffs during the Ming Dynasty, by the way.
Well, there we go. Perfect.
You thought you were here just for a board meeting. Great. Any other comments? Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Buelna?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez?
Yes.
Trustee Eno?
Yes.
Trustee Vela?
Yes.
Trustee Vettis?
Great. Recognizing Citizenship Day, National Voter Registration Day on September 17th, and United States Constitutional Week from September 17th to 23rd. May I have a motion and a second on item H2?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Hernandez,
I'll second it.
second by Trustee Vela. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Buelna?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez? Trustee Eno?
Yes.
Trustee Vela?
Yeah.
Trustee Vettis?
Supporting and recognizing Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander serving institutions week, which is September 22nd through 28th. May I have a motion and a second on item H3? So moved by Trustee Hernandez. Second by Trustee Francis. Any discussion? I think I would just like to add a small comment regarding that. As we learn of the potential threats to minority serving institution funds, and APZ grants are definitely falling under that. as we have seen very publicly too, the AAPI and AAPI community and HPI has also been severely impacted by these ICE raids and immigration raids and just overall fear. And so as a collective, I think it just further shows how we all need to really support one another and band together during these challenging times. And I hope the NAPZ grants survive as well as the other minority serving institution grants. And at some point, the LACCD will qualify for additional funds because our student population is there. And this population definitely needs support. And so thank you for this resolution. I know we aren't NAPZ serving institutions, but I think it's great that we are recognizing this and a place that we can move towards in the future. So thank you. Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buona,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Great. And honoring National Custodial Worker Recognition and Appreciation Day, may I have a motion and a second on item H4? So moved by trustee Vella, second by trustee Hernandez. Discussion, colleagues?
Just really want to thank,
Yeah.
Yeah.
trustee. please.
Part saying the same thing. We both are really
Yeah.
excited for this, you know. I'm already texting my presidents now, like, hey, we have another event coming up very soon. Let's get it going, you know. I'm very excited, you know, I'm just very excited for this, you know. Our custodians is the reason why we walk into a beautiful school every day, right?
Yes.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, and President Eno,
I'll be the last one.
Sure. Trustee Vella?
no, I just wanted to echo, and then, you know, we saw SEIU 99 here. Look, again, I want to reiterate, we got to respect everyone, the hard work. We are a community here at LACCD, so I want to thank SEIU 99 for being here. I do also want to say that throughout this year, I've been attending campuses to, you know, do various meetings, and they have been absolutely spotless, exquisite. I was just at Trade Tech for a meeting as well. I think I commented to President McQuarters. And so, yeah, very, very happy. Thank you.
Sure. Trustee Veras?
Yeah, thank you. I think it is, obviously, as we do all these resolutions, it's important to acknowledge and raise up the various concerns and the various sort of needs in each and every single one of them. Sometimes having and honoring the National Custodial Workers recognition in the midst where public comment is of concern and of frustration sometimes doesn't feel great. And I think there's sort of more to it that some of us may know more about and less about. But Chancellor, if you know, and I think the call was made to you to see if we can come to resolutions and, you know, like many of the AFT conversations that were raised about grievances and issues. I very much hope that as we vote for this, it also is a call on you to get us to the point in the next month where this honoring could really get down to the substance of what the concerns and frustrations are. And so, you know, I take it as I do this vote here is also sort of a call to action to get to a point where all the concerns and issues can get us to a place where nobody talks about not having respect and dignity in the workplace. So when those calls are made, I think we have to take them very seriously. So appreciate that and look forward to an update on that here soon.
Great. Thank you. My colleagues, Trustee Hernandez?
Yeah, I just want to echo my colleagues here, but I do agree, you know, being able to honor and recognize our custodial workers is just an opportunity also for us to fine tune our values and making sure that we have strong workplace protections and that everyone feels a sense of dignity and respect. So I would love, you know, just keep us informed, Chancellor, on as you engage and, you know, definitely want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to make sure that every worker here is valued on our campuses.
Trustee Wilma? I know you wanted to discuss something related to violence as well.
Is it appropriate right now?
I mean, we can either wait for item announcements.
I'll say it right now.
Sure.
I just think it's important, President Eno,
Please.
that you've had a lot of violence right now, and Charlie Kirk was killed today. He's a conservative political speaker or activist, and in the middle of all this violence, we have to make sure and give condolences to his family and to everyone around him, and acknowledge that when something like this happens, it could lead to violence throughout the country. Yes, we had our Supreme Court decision yesterday. I don't know how this may or may not affect everything. It's a tragedy when anyone is targeted for their political ideology, especially when they have 2 young children and a family. But I think as a public body, we need to give our condolences and request that the federal government tone down their speech also, to make sure that things don't get out of control.
Thank you. Okay, so roll call, please, Lupe, for the last resident honoring National Custodial Worker Recognition and Appreciation Day, which is going to be on October 2nd.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote,
Yes.
trustee Buelna,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now we have the report from the chancellor. I will now turn it over to Chancellor Rahman for the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board President Eno, members of the board. I want to first and foremost take this opportunity again to recognize Asian American, Native American, and Pacific Islander Serving Institutions Week. This is from September 22nd through the 28th. And as you know, all of our 9 colleges, it's been stated already, are minority serving institutions. We also have LACCD College and Harvard College that are designated as NPC eligible institutions. So I appreciate the intentionality behind the work that's taking place across our 9 campuses to support NPC and all of our AAPI students, first and foremost. So thank you for that. And again, thank you for the resolution. You know, a lot has been said today about 99, and here's how I want to respond in part. We heard you loud and clear, Chris and Local 99. Before the end of the meeting last month, I did reach out to Chris, and I told her that I'd love for her team and our team to get together. And I was willing to invite the college presidents to the meeting, as well as the vice presidents of the areas. She has since responded to us, and I think we have a meeting in the books to meet with Local 99. I think it's important for us to talk about the specific issues happening, and with really the goal to resolve them. We are committed to a hostile-free work environment. And if there are significant issues that are happening, we want to know about them, and we will address them. And I'll take that as a personal and professional responsibility to make sure that all of our employees have hostile-free work environments. So I just want to report to the board that we do have a meeting already in the books, and I plan to follow up with you in terms of the outcome of those meetings. And if others are necessary, we will continue to have those. But I also think it's important to acknowledge the amazing work of our custodians, our Local 99, celebrate, the work that they do. And, I've been to all 9 colleges recently, and to the trustee's point, Trustee Velas, they're all clean, they're all safe. They're all, I think, campuses that are exemplary to other colleges. And this is the work of our Local 99 members. So again, Chris, Ozan, and the team, I want to thank you for your leadership, for your advocacy, for always standing up for the rights of your employees. I think it's important that we recognize you and the leadership of Local 99 today as well. I'm going to have more on the Latino Heritage Month later in my presentation, but again, I want to acknowledge some of the comments that have been made by the trustees already. So let me go ahead and go on to slide 2. So last week was the first week of the fall semester. We're excited to kick off another year. So far, enrollment's looking good. We are about 2% up on enrollment, and from last year, and about 1% up on head count. Generally, gender breakdowns remain about the same, but there's a small drop on non-binary. I think it's about 35 students. There are increases in those students taking, I think that slide, it says more than 6, but we want to say less than 6 units. But, and then there's a decrease between students taking 6 and 11.5 units. But here's what I want to point out. There's a significant increase in students taking 12 or more units. And that means that more students are going back to school full time, which is what we want. That goes towards persistence and completion. So that's a really good sign going forward. I think it's up about 19% from last fall. Overall, the average class size is up about 4%. We want our classes to be filled. So again, sort of moving in the right direction there. We can go to the next slide, please. As you look at the age category, there's another thing we want to point out here. You'll notice an increase in students who are 25 years or older. And that seems to be an enrollment trend across all of our 9 campuses. And perhaps it's probably indicative of the economy and folks wanting to return to upskill, to earn certificates and degrees and even transfer. So I've been talking to some of our college presidents and they have indicated significant growth in adult ed and non-credit. If you look at the category there, you'll see that we're up 10% in headcount for non-credit, as well as a 19% in enrollment. So most of this growth is likely, again, students who are 35 years or older. And I'm going to give kudos to all of our college presidents and their teams. They are indeed responding very effectively to the growing demand and robust non-credit programs. I had a chance to visit with Harbor. President Dorado has an amazing program there. So all of our 9 colleges I plan to visit throughout this fall, but I was at Harbor, I think it was last week, and had an opportunity to see their one-stop shop. They have built up a program with non-credit faculty. They have a pantry in there. They have counseling. They have A&R. It's basically everything you need to be ready to rock and roll on the non-credit side program. So kudos, President Dorado, for an amazing program you have there. And again, all of our 9 college presidents are doing amazing work in non-credit. Let me go on to the next slide, please. Trustee Hernandez touched very briefly on this, but I wanted to add a little more to the clean energy and sustainability goals that we have. On today's agenda, we have 2 items related to that, Y2 and Y4. And I do want to commend this board for continuing to make this a priority. We have several projects that have been completed. We have projects that are now in design and construction. And we also have projects that are planned for the future that really demonstrate our commitment to clean energy and sustainability. For example, we have projects that include renewable energy, such as Mission College's plan, facility shop and warehouse. This is a net positive project with solar providing about 115% of the facility's average daily use. We have a building facilities that will have LEED certification, and we will be powered by renewable energy. In the area of transportation, we are working to install vehicle charging stations across all of our 9 campuses. Again, we're working in collaboration with LAWP and California Edison. And then we also have a pretty neat project for President Eno. I think you and I were there. This is the Southwest project, which irrigates approximately 20 acres and it cuts the portable water use significantly at Southwest. So this is, again, leading towards our sustainability resolution and continuing to support efforts in green and sustainability. And certainly I'm proud to share that the projects include internships for our students, which I think it's very important. Projects that are related to food waste, transportation, community outreach are very important, and our students are engaged. We're also partnering with community groups such as the Native Plant Microforest at West LA College. I think you have a great partnership over there, President Limbaugh. So you'll continue to see more and more projects in the space. And again, I want to thank the board for leading the efforts on sustainability, on clean energy, and the projects that we're seeing come to fruition are certainly the vision of the board in wanting to be in the space. So let me go ahead and go on to the next slide. And again, Trustee Hernandez, I wanted you to steal my thunder, so you did. So here we know, that was a great segue. Let me talk a little bit about housing. So I had the opportunity to be at the Capitol a couple of weeks ago, participated on the State Senate Select Committee that really focused on community college housing. And during that particular hearing, I had an opportunity to convey strongly our commitment to student housing at LACCD. Again, appreciative of the board and championing housing, student housing as a top priority for the district. And I want to make that clear. Student housing is a top priority for this district. We know that when students experience food and housing security, their priority is not education. So this is why it's so important for us. And over the course of the last several months, as Trustee Hernandez stated, we have been working on a multi-pronged approach to student housing that includes call for properties. And this includes the leasing or purchasing of buildings that Trustee Hernandez talked about. We're pretty close to actually completing that process and being able to bring forward recommendations to the board on some of the proposals that were submitted. We had the RFP go out a few months back, and it's coming to fruition probably in the next month and a half. We're also working on a project that would actually allow us to build an Adoram. And we have been talking to LACD College. I know President Gabru has had a couple of town halls at City College related to building on campus. We are writing the RFQ now for a bench of operators, and we plan to launch the RFP design and build hopefully in Q4. So that's the building of an actual Adoram at one of our campuses. And lastly, I want to also talk a little bit about the conversations and collaborations we're looking at with the universities and the CSUs that have expressed a significant interest in wanting to partner with us. A lot of the CSUs have beds right now, and they're looking to us to fill those beds. I know East LA College is working with Cal State LA on a potential project that would put our students at Cal State LA, while allowing them to take both classes at East LA College as well as Cal State LA. We have Dominguez Hills as a potential partnership. We have CSUN in the Valley as well. And we have UCLA potentially for Harvard College. So colleagues, this is a multi-pronged approach. We know that it's going to take all of this to come together to be able to serve all of our students across the district. But I'm very proud, and I'm very proud of the work that Trustee Hernandez has led through FEMPOC over the last, this year and the prior years, and the entire board, again, all 7 board members who have been champions of student housing and continue to support this administration and my leadership in moving forward. You will see a lot of momentum being gained this fall as we move forward. You'll see projects coming forward for presentation of potential housing. You will see us move forward on housing, on the build of LACD or another college, and you'll see the partnerships that are coming forward with universities and other potential partners. So again, thank you for your leadership. I really appreciate it, and thank you for continuing to believe in the main goal to house our students. All
Can
right.
I chime in
Yes.
really quick? Because I know we have the Chancellor's report, and I wanted to just recognize my colleagues, you know, on the dais here. You know, as you know, I chair basic needs, which includes the more granular approach to basic needs. But, you know, obviously, I had big shoes to fill because Trustee Hernandez chaired the basic needs ad hoc committee that was started. And really happy to be doing that now. But I do want to say that I think that we have had, you know, a lot of real success since, you know, we have had the honor of having Dr. Alberto Roman take the reins as chancellor. And then also with Dr. Lisata, I think that Dr. Lisata also came in a transition. So I want to recognize these 2 gentlemen. And, you know, I know that the board, from time to time, we get a very passionate, and, you know, I think I've had a very intimate conversation with our chancellor about moving and a little bit faster, and ensuring that, you know, publicly the community, our students, I did mention it also to student trustee Francis, and that we are serious about student housing, that we are, you know, not only just committed, but we have the ability right now with the board here to put forth, you know, motions, you know, more policy. But I do think that, as Chancellor Roman just said, you know, again, thanks to Dr. Lisata, we are moving. And so I want to, you know, offer that to you know, us as trustees, that, you know, we are seeing results. And I do want to thank again the cooperation of you, Dr. Roman, for saying this publicly, because it is important, especially right now as we're looking at these federal cuts. I just got a text that it's done. The Department of Education has cut all minority programs throughout the country. So This is important because of many of our students that, again, I don't want to reiterate the number, that experience homelessness and housing insecurity are minority students, people of color, as well as LGBT youth. So, it is important more than ever that we commit to the student housing program that we all here in this dais have worked so hard to put together with our staff. So I just wanted to reiterate that commitment. Thank you, Chancellor, for that. Really appreciate your hard work on this topic.
Thank you so much, Trustee Vela and trustees. And again, I was talking to Vice Chancellor Sada. He's not a full year in yet. And look at the entire progress that we've had in the time he's been here. So I want to recognize his leadership as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. If we can go to the final slide, I think it's second or final. Let me, again, take a moment to acknowledge, I call it Latino Heritage Month. I know Trustee Wanda would agree with that, but it is Mexican Heritage Month. It is recognized as Hispanic Heritage Month. And many of you know this, that the LACCD student population is about 60% Latino, Latina. Just to give you a sense of the number, that's about 120,000. Let me repeat that again, 120,000 students across our 9 campuses that are identified as Latina, Latino, Mexican, American, Central American. If that wasn't clear on who we serve, I believe it is. And in light of the recent Supreme Court decision, I think it's become more important than ever that we publicly reaffirm our commitment to our students and their families, and that we celebrate the beauty of the culture as well as the impact of their accomplishments. I said in an interview recently that we are proud that all of our 9 colleges, with or without the designation of funding, are indeed Hispanic serving institutions. And that has proven to be a tremendous strength to the entire district. And I would say this, you want to know what our immigrant and Latina and Latino students are capable of? Because that's been the talk for a while. You want to know what they're capable of? Let me tell you. Here's the economic impact of our student population. It is approximately $23.2 billion in economic output by students who support over 242,000 jobs in the county of Los Angeles. That means that 1 in every 29 jobs in Los Angeles County is supported by the activities of our colleges and our students. Let's take that in. That is a tremendous impact from our students, of which the majority are Latino and Latino students. So you want to talk about impact, you want to talk about the profound socio and economic impact of our students. Let's look at those numbers. And I would say this to our faculty, to our staff, to our administrators, as we celebrate this month and throughout the year, let us continue to uplift our students. Let's give them the power. Let's uplift their voices. Let's support their dreams. Let's help them achieve to the fullest potential. The greatest gift that we can give anyone who aspires to transform their life is education. And collectively, their trajectory, I think in part, lies on the work that we do to support them. So I want to thank everybody for what you do on behalf of our students. The unwavering support needs to continue because our students need it and they deserve it now more than ever. So with that, let me go on to the last slide and show you a little bit of what happened last week as we kicked off another fall semester. Lupe, go ahead and play the video, please. If you're not on the video, by the way, it's not my fault, okay? It's a very short video. It was not AI generated, but probably could have done it.
Chancellor, the link was not included.
Okay. Did you try the play button in the center? I think if you, you know what I did, Lupe? If you go to presentation mode and try hitting the play button, that might work.
Okay. Good job, Crystal.
We will have an updated video with more captions than photos. But with that, Madam President, that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership during this very critical time, Chancellor. So next we will have the presentation from the JLMBC annual report. Please no graphic pictures.
Only send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
It was kind of an inside joke. I brought pictures of the pinhole gum surgery.
Yes,
That's
it's been haunting us ever since.
the what?
Beautiful tie.
Yes, thank you very much. It's got Marvin the Martian, Tasmanian Devil, and Bugs Bunny on it. I'm glad to the Chancellor, to the Board President, the Honorable Trustees, I'm here and I want to take the little victories when we get them. The charter of the JLMBC, the Joint Labor Management Benefits Committee. I got it right. Yay. Okay. Our charter is to make this report once annually in September. And I have to be honest, I think this is the first time we made it in September in a very long time, just because of COVID and everything else that went on. So we're going to go through this relatively fast. You have the report, it's in your documents. You also have the base file that all the data sheets that fed this report that was created by USI, which is our new consultant. And so you have all that. If you have any questions as we're going through it, it'd probably be best to ask right then because it's a little dense. But I'm primarily just going to go over what the graphics and the trends have been. So if we move to the next slide, this is a summary, an executive summary of two things. It's primarily what your JLMBC has been doing, as well as the primary issue that JLMBC deals with, which is the medical, dental, vision benefit package that is part of all of our employees' wage and benefits compensation. Next slide. CalPERS medical plans are showing, this is just kind of a trend if you weren't aware of it. It's approximately a 9.6% increase from last year. Historically, we kind of annually anticipate about a 10% increase as you guys are preparing the budgets. So it didn't fall wildly outside that expectation. You may have seen, if anyone in here is a member of Blue Shield, the PPO plan, they probably saw the letter that was sent by Blue Shield. That's kind of a new thing. It's from Blue Shield, not from CalPERS, and it's not from the district. And it was warning everybody that that plan went up about 14 point something%. So it was a rather large increase in that individual plan. But it doesn't affect our employees. Because of the way our benefits are provided by the district. It's no financial impact overall. But it just shows that those things are increasing. CalPERS is not insurance. They're self-funded like we do. We're Delta Dental. So it's a little, they manipulated around, they offset what they didn't spend last year to buy impact, to kind of limit the impact. But that 14% will, over the next 3 years, be merged into what we pay. So it just smooths out the bumps. This just gives you an idea. Now, Delta Dental is a self-funded program by LACCD. It's managed, Delta manages it, but it's whatever goes out of it comes directly from us. It only saw an increase of 5.6. Very little on the MetLife. Several other programs are actually flat. We got contracts where they guaranteed the price for several years. New York Life provides our basic life. ASI Flex spending accounts and health reimbursements accounts. They also handle our Medicare reimbursement for folks. Next slide. And there's all those numbers. And you can see a USI recommendation, and there has to do with, if you have a specific question, Christine, right? Yeah, is in the background. If you have a question that I can't answer, she can raise her hand and we can bring her forward on Zoom. So it's basically changes in the prices. So the current cost for 2025 is shown there for each of the primary medical plans, our dental HMO, and our vision care, the basic life, it's all laid out. So if you want to know the expense, this is a good chunk of what we spend our money on for our what I consider to be our biggest resource, which is our personnel, our people. The renewal cost shows you what it went up to, and the change is a percentage, and you can see overall there's very little change. In our group, it's the big one was there was a bigger increase in the Medicare folks. Impact wise, it's not as large because there's not as many of them. So that just shows you how it worked out for us. For us, we split very much 50-50 between the PPO and the HMO Kaiser are two big plans. So Kaiser was very flat this year. They didn't go up very much. So when it averages out, that's where that 9%. Next slide. So the basic and how the renewals were done. Next slide. These are the actual percentages. We live in the specific region of the state that didn't see that one big one, the Blue Shield Trio that happened up north. They were forced out of the programs they were in. They closing up a program, and so they were forced into Trio. And when that happened, the rates went through the roof for those folks. Very small group in the state, but for those folks, it was very impactful. And then you can just see the rest of them. Those are all the plans and what happened based on the percentages. I think that's it. So you can see the PERS Gold was 10.5. The Platinum was 13. We probably should have pulled PORAC off. PORAC we don't have access to. That's the police officers in the state. Next slide. This is more of a breakdown of our specific region. We're in Region 1, and you can see what our region did. And like I says, and because of the PERS and our Kaiser split, it averages out to about a 9.6% increase for our budget, as Jeanette would love to say. Next slide. And there'll be a test on this one at the end. This, if you really get nerdy, like I'll be honest with you, I get nerdy in this stuff every year as we go through it. Stop blinking. These are all the different plan combinations that are available. It's one of the difficult ways of trying to figure out how much of the benefit is part of your salary and how much is salary, because we have different coverages. If it's yourself, it's one set. If it's a partner, it's two people. And then anybody beyond that, it's a three-party plan. And then we have the issues with when you go on Medicare, if someone, and that changes for the retirees. They go into combo plans if the member's over, and that's all here. If you really get nerdy and you want to know and you go through it and you want to call me, I'll explain it to you. But other than that, we can go to the next slide. This is the basic metal rates for Region 2. We can skip. We have a handful of folks that live in Region 2, and I think, if I remember right, we have one in Region 1. I can't explain exactly how that works, but we do. Next one. This is the post-65 on the retirees. We do have our retirees go into Medicare, and that's contractual in our CBA. And once they're into Medicare, they get the supplemental plan. Probably the most thing that I think we need to do education-wise as a district, as all of our unions, is to help explain to folks that it became very apparent during the SRP presentations that our members don't grasp the separation between STRS PERS and the PERS medical, that the medical is not a PERS or STRS benefit. That lifetime medical that we get is a LACCD negotiated benefit of the Labor Caucus and management agreed to. It's separate and it confuses people primarily. I'm kind of just, my teacher came out, I'm sorry. But it comes up when they're trying to figure out if they got their 20 years in, and STRS says they got 20 years because they bought their sick leave back. That doesn't apply It doesn't apply to you need 20 years of LACCD employment because it is as I love to call it, it's an OPEB. It's an other post-retirement benefit. So it's it's just different, and it didn't used to be a problem because we had our own policies. It became, when we just buy it from CalPERS. Okay, sorry, we'll go. My teacher got going. And I get the question about 19 times a day right now. Next slide. Delta Dental. This one I wanted to just expand a little bit. You can go to the next slide. These were just the costs. This is the trends. Green line is our membership. So, you can see where this is a month to month. It fluctuates a little bit. Our claims did go up a bit because last year we did, you voted to support the increase of the pinhole dental surgery inclusion, but primarily it was the increase in full coverage of the preventative care. So when we did a deep dive into this, that solution had a few claims go up in numbers, but we stopped as many of the dangerous ones. In other words, they're using their preventative service more now than they were, and we're using less of the more expensive orthodontics later on. So that was a successful change. Next. This just shows exactly how much we actually paid. Next. This is the MetLife Dental HMO. This is a legacy plan that actually originated in the 60s. It's stable. It's not changing. Next. VSP, there's been a little bit of confusion on VSP. We have now have 2 VSP plans. We have one that is the one the district supplies, which is the good one. And then Blue Shield has a teeny benefit built into Blue Shield. And it has created some issues. So JLMBC is working on some training material to make sure folks understand there is 2 of them, make sure they use the right one. And then we want to educate them on how to gain access to the second one. It's not much, but it's something. Next. This just shows the VSP plan. It's been pretty stable. These are all the individual costs month by month. Next. VSP experience. This is how we analyzed it and what your committee gets to talk about all the time. Next. New York Life, you can see that it's really flat, and that was because in the contract they gave us a rate guarantee for several years, and so it's going to be flat until 2028, so that won't go up. Next. Employee assistance, that's our EAP. That is now Telex. Keeps changing names on us, but it's Telex now. It's improving, and usage is going up. Next. This is the FSA HRA. This is the ASI Flex that manages that for us. There is a change, and I'll send the update. There was one category we wanted to put on. Is that this slide? It's either this one or the next one. Let's go to the next slide. Next. That's the one. This is the total amounts for each of those programs. We did add a note, but it was added after this was sent to the board. It goes right below here. It's just a note that gives the total of the FSA, well, the HRA total. And it is approximately $8.2 million. Some of us, I mean, I hear the number 6 thrown around all the time. And so we wanted to know exactly what it was. So we had them added up. And so I'll send an update of it's just a note that got added to the bottom that it totals up. Next slide. This is what we've been doing as the committee. The fall newsletters went out on time. They are out. We're already begun working on the newsletter for the spring edition of we continually explore long-term care. We continually find it to be incredibly expensive and don't know what we can do with it. But we do keep looking. The committee continually looks at voluntary benefits that may or may not be a benefit for our employees. We look at them and discuss them We are actively and every year we do review options to CalPERS, but it's a very big decision if we ever decide to recommend that to the board, because once you leave them, you can't come back for 5 years. But we do look at it to make sure that they are still the most competitive bang for the buck. Again, we have been dental enhancements. We're notifying folks. You may have heard the smile way. That was we educate that. We did review pet insurance, and we're going to come to you last month with a proposal to actually have insurance, pet insurance. But in the end, it was discovered we couldn't do it the way it had got proposed. And so we have to look at it again. So it was rescinded by the committee, and we'll look at, so it's status quo for the pet discount service. And always exploring financial wellness issues that can help our people. Next. You can go to the next one if you just want to go find this in your board docs. These are the people we have to talk to every month at least. Next. And next. And that's pretty much it. And then I think the rest of it is just the actual hard data on how it was presented. So you have this. If anybody has any question, I would be more than happy to answer them. But other than that, that's where we're at. The rate increases, I believe, that are implied with the percentages are on your agenda to approve them for next year. And that's it from the JLMBC.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board colleagues?
Very thorough.
No, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, healthcare should be a human right. And so thank you for your advocacy. It's a challenging time for healthcare too. So thank you to the district. Great. Okay, so public hearing to adopt the LACCD 2025-2026 final budget. I will now, the board will now open the public hearing regarding the LACCD 25-26 final budget before considering adoption. Are there any members of the public signed up to address the board regarding the final budget?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Joining us today is Ms. Deborah Berry, Director of Budget and Management Analysis, to provide a brief presentation on the LACCD 25-26 final budget. Welcome, and thank you. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, trustees. My name again is Deborah Berry. I'm the Director of Budget. I'd like to start off this presentation first by just acknowledging my small but mighty team. I have 4 staff members as well as the staff out of all of our colleges. We start this process in January, and it commences here in September with the final board presentation. So next slide, please. So just to go over a little bit of the 25-26 state budget agreement, it included a COLA of 2.3%. Just as a reminder, the SCIF formula, the COLA is applied to the SCIF rates, as well as various other categorical programs, including adult ed, CalWorks, as well as the other ones listed there. The state budget also included a growth rate of 2.35%, as well as other various new revenue streams, including increases to the Strong Workforce Program, the emergency financial aid that's been referenced earlier, additional money for the Dream Resource Liaisons, which is really important right now. We're in year 3 of the LGBTQ pilot program, as well as additional funding for EMT and paramedic academies, California school food pathway programs. And then also there was additional funding in the budget for fire recovery. So that's one area that we're looking at as well for our region. Next slide, please. This is a quick summary. This was brought to Budget and Finance before, but this when we had our enacted state budget came out, just a summary of the potential changes. These numbers will change as we get the final numbers from the state. These are estimates. Next slide, please. So what's changed from tentative budget? So as you know, our budget process begins in January with the governor's budget, and then we have 3 iterations of the budget, from the preliminary budget, the tentative budget, and now the final budget. So from the tentative budget, what we've done is we've ended 24-25, our last fiscal year, and from that we were able to distribute the ending balances. Designated carryover balances included 51 million. That included college ending balances of 46 million, The ESC, glad to say, ended up in the black, with just a little under $1 million in district-wide, and that's mainly for VDK and some of the other district, not all district-wide, but some district-wide balances are maintained. It's 4.5. Open orders of 5.7. And then we do distribute out for the district-wide expenses that do not get used. The budget, the extra budget, the surplus gets distributed out back to the colleges, and that was $9.7 million for a total ending fund balance of $150 million. Next slide, please. So within the budget, we have various assumptions that we made in forming the budget. Our base state adopted budget is based off of the state apportionment of $843 million. Our revenue assumptions, we assume flat as in prior years. We do not budget growth at final budget. It does, like I noted, there is the COLA of 2.3 that is included in the increase in the SCIF rates. We do include the assumed, we assume the salary increase of 3.3 for 25-26 for the CBA as approved by the board. And then we also, the budget does reflect the maintenance of the reserve per the board policy of a general reserve of 6.5 and a contingency reserve of 3.5%. Different for a change for 25-26 is we did suspend the deferred maintenance contribution this year to give a little relief to the colleges. That decreases the assessment, and based on our review of what we had in the deferred maintenance fund, the chancellor approved that we suspended that for this year. So let's go ahead and the next slide, please. Our 25-26 budget does incorporated the board approved budget allocation, and that is included in the budget documents. Total budget allocation is a little over $1 billion. Of that, $940 million is allocated out to the colleges. The district-wide account, which are the accounts that cover the centralized services, is $157.3 million. The district office, again, per the allocation model, is funded at what they received in the prior year plus the COLA. So for the ESC, that's $39.5 million, and for IT, that's $21 million. Again, the contingency reserved of that 3.5% equates to just about $33 million, and then the general reserve at $61 million. Again, deferred maintenance suspended, and we are on year 5 of 5 of the previous SRP, which will be $4 million this year. Next slide, please. So the general fund allocation by college, this is just a chart that shows the allocations that went out. Again, the total is just over $1 billion. Next slide. And then this chart is the unrestricted dollars that went out to colleges. And again, that total is just $755 million. So that includes my very short presentation over the 25-26 budget. Open to any questions the board may have.
Can we go to sorry, Dr. Eno.
Please.
Can we go to the first, I think one of the slides on the allocations, the leftover money from the, I think, no, it's another one, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that one. District-wide and VDK out of the money, how much is VDK and how much is district-wide that was left over?
So I don't have offhand, I want to say VDK is like a little over $1 million. I don't know. I'll have to look in I have it in front of me, sorry. But district-wide, it's I'll get that to you in a minute.
Okay. No,
Sorry.
as long as you guys get me that info through email, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If it's in the final budget, I'll see it.
It's in, okay.
It
I
is?
can direct you to the page.
Okay. thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry about that.
Any other questions, board colleagues? Please, Trustee Hernandez.
So I just wanted to get, currently when we look at our, reserves, we are at what percentage at this point?
So the reserves ended in 24-25 at 10.5%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that, in your sort of professional opinion, appear sufficient in terms of our predictions on where we're going to be in the next year or two?
So there's two different numbers. The reserve and the ending fund balance number
Mhm.
are actually two different numbers. And so the reserve is set by board policy at
Mhm.
10%. And then the ending fund balance is whatever's left in the ending fund. The reserves are a portion of that. Our ending fund balance was about 15% right now. Industry
Hmm.
standard is that you want to have at least 2 months of expenditures and your ending fund balance. The idea being that you want to have at least 2 months of payroll on hand at any given time. And that equates to 16.7%. So again, based off of industry standards, our ending fund balance is slightly below 2 months of expenditures at this point. But in terms of the 10% reserve, that's per policy.
So is there a plan in the next year to increase that reserve amount or to any ending fund balance to get it to 16 point whatever percent you just mentioned so that we could get back up to industry
Yeah,
policy?
it's more of a chancellor, in fairness to Deborah, because she's.
Sorry. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean to
no,
direct
that's
this to-
fair.
Yeah.
So it is a plan, but you have to understand 17% for us is a significant amount of money, running 9 colleges in a district office. We're about maybe a percent below
Yeah.
where we should be or so.
Yeah.
It's not common for a lot of districts to meet the standard. It's not a statute, it's a recommendation. And I think given all of the reductions that we have seen, I'm very proud of the fact that we're pretty close to that percentage. But to answer your question more directly, Trustee Hernandez, that's part of the plan. I think with the retirement incentive that we will, hopefully get approved in November to reduce a little bit of the employment force, as well as continuing to work with the colleges on various ways to generate revenue, in addition to also using our categorical programs and one-time funds to get through next year. I am very confident that all of the colleges at the end of this year will be balanced, and many will actually have a fund reserve going forward into next year to get us to that 17% at the end of this year.
Thank you.
Trustee Veras?
Yeah, thank you. Chancellor, I wanted to, I know you and I had spoken about this as you were developing the strategy here, but I think it's important for the public to sort of understand what we're doing with the deferred maintenance fund. That was a recommendation that was put in place many years ago when we were having some of the challenges with our building program, where it was we weren't doing the maintenance in between the new building construction. So to have a new building not be maintained well, and then to turn around and have the next bond identify that as a new building on top of that for whatever the needs were and whatever the reasons were. But can you talk about what's going on with the deferred maintenance fund, why that ended up being a recommendation? And on top of all this, I think there was a serious concern across the board over the last few years, especially in terms of bathrooms. I think our students, bathrooms and elevators, our students, staff have all come forward and sort of talked about those kinds of things. But in light of the deferred maintenance, I know that's a maintenance question. Some of that may be deferred maintenance in terms of elevators, but at least in terms of bathrooms, it's a maintenance plan. So if you can talk about how we're going to be able to handle the bathrooms, the elevator request, and then at the same time, is this sort of what's your thought process for the long term?
Yeah.
How to handle the deferred maintenance piece?
Thank you for that. I think that's a very important question, as alluded to in the presentation. So let me start with the policy part of this, and then have our Vice Chancellor talk about, sort of the process of utilizing these deferred maintenance funds. First and foremost, I do want to thank the board for taking a policy decision to actually have that 2% reserve for deferred maintenance. It had not been our practice to have, at times, sufficient enough funds to actually be able to do things like bathrooms, elevators, and the like. We have a very robust fund right now for deferred maintenance because of the policy that was implemented by the board to carve out 2%. This past year, we had an opportunity to look at ways in which we could assist the colleges in balancing. I think you and I had a conversation and others about whether or not it would be prudent for us to suspend that policy for 1 year to allow the colleges to use some of that fund as a one-time basis. So we did that. The long-term plan is to continue to have those funds available for the colleges. And I'm going to have Vice Chancellor Lisa to talk a little bit about the priorities, but I want to make clear that we have held sufficient enough funds in current year and in prior years and into the future to make sure that we address the most important needs. I'll have him talk a little bit about the elevator a proposal that's coming forward. and then some of the other things that we're using the deferred maintenance funds for. I think, at this point, there's not a proposal to continue to set aside the 2%. We wanted to be in the deferred maintenance funds. But I would say that because of some challenges in the past of not being able to utilize the funds, we saw this as a one-time opportunity to assist the colleges. So Vice Chancellor Sata, talk a little bit about some of the ongoing initiatives already with the deferred maintenance funds related to elevators and other projects. And then how do we see some of these funds sort of going back to the colleges to address specifically some of the things that Trustee Veras has brought up?
Yeah, thank you, Chancellor, and thank you for the question, Trustee Veras. So to answer the question about where the funds are going, we are in active process right now of spending those down. Again, with your support, we were able to add some project managers, internal project managers that have been working hard on several different projects, including roofing replacements, a comprehensive elevator plan across the entire district, and those types of activities. So we are also taking a look, and we've asked Peggy Quijada, who oversees the maintenance area and operations, to take a look at how we can coordinate our bond dollars because we have access to the infrastructure dollars. So if we have the ability to go into look at district-wide projects there that could address some of these things, we are trying to make sure that we're utilizing those funds to the extent that we can. So we are actively spending those funds down. There was a fairly large balance, as the Chancellor mentioned, partially due to the fact that we didn't have project managers in-house. That problem has been resolved, and they are working very hard to catch up and spend down those dollars.
I offer a suggestion here, and I think I probably authored the deferred maintenance resolution back then when we did it. But that was prior to Measure C in LA.
Mhm.
So this is post J here. Perhaps it needs a revisit to understand how it works and how we organize it. And so maybe at some point, Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, if this is something that can be sent over to MPOC for a conversation of whether, because of the way we have infrastructure coming, what's the sort of best approach? Because I also don't want to view, you want to make sure everybody's doing their maintenance.
Right.
And this is sort of the catch-up projects kind of style. But at the same time, since we have so much infrastructure coming down the pipe, it also is maybe not the best use to have a locked fund that's sitting there, or maybe the requirements to access it may not be necessary or need another revisit there. But I'd suggest that, and it's a one-time thing, but maybe we take a look at the policy again and see if it's the best policy for where we stand right now, considering there's two more infrastructure bonds that have been passed since.
And to be clear, I do want to say we always need some sort of a deferred maintenance fund to address repairs and things like that. So,
Absolutely.
But we'd be happy.
I never knew if 2.5 was right. We took a sort of recommendation from the marketplace then, not the marketplace, but from best management practices.
Yes.
But that conceived of it without two other bonds on the table since. So that was with Measure J being the last bond. So, the new data, new information may, cause us to think about it in a different way.
And if I can say, I
Thank
think
you.
some of the pre-1970s buildings will get addressed through the
Yeah.
bond.
They have your-
Yeah, so maybe if Trustee Hernandez, if you'll indulge having this conversation at FEMPOC, we can bring it forward for the discussion, see if that 2% is the correct way, and then sort of put together a comprehensive plan of what's taking place, what's pending, and then make some recommendations perhaps from there.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that discussion. Anyone else, board colleagues?
I do have the answer for Trustee Vella.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so you can look on either page 7 or page 160, or excuse me, 191, excuse me.
Okay.
And BDK's ending balance for 24-25 was 2.7 million, and then the other district-wide was 1.7 million to make up that 3.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. And I do have that. Thank you.
That was the end of the presentation,
Yes.
correct? Okay, any other further questions, board colleagues? I think that, thank you so much, Ms. Berry. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. We will vote on it later, right? So combined consent calendar. We now have for review combined consent calendar items L1 through Y12. These items include consent calendar for Human Resources, Personnel Commission, Academic Affairs and Student Services, Budget and Finance, Business and Facilities. May I have a motion and a second to adopt combined consent calendar for L1 through Y12? So moved by trustee Wellness, second by trustee Hernandez. Any items which require additional information, board colleagues? No? Okay. With that said, no disclosures. May I have a roll call, please, Lupe?
Student trustee Francis advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yeah.
Trustee Vettis.
Great. Items Z1 through Z10. May I have a motion and a second to adopt business items Z1 through Z10?
So moved.
By trustee Vella, second by trustee Hernandez. And are there any items which require additional information, board colleagues? No. No disclosures. May I have a roll call, please, Lupe?
Student trustee Francis advisory vote. Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez. Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Item AA1 through AA18. May I have a motion and a second to adopt facilities items A1 through AA18?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Veras. Second. Second by trustee Hernandez. Are there any items which require additional information? No disclosures. May I have a roll call, please, Lupe?
Student trustee Francis advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Great. Items BB, recommendation from the chancellor. So this item is, Chancellor, would you please provide a brief explanation on the 3 action items?
Let me start with BB1. Madam President, this is the actual adoption of the 25-26 budget. You just had at the hearing, and now we're asking for you to take action to actually approve the budget. So that I want to take separately.
May I have a motion and a second on item BB1?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Vella, second by trustee Hernandez. Any further discussion on the budget? We had a really comprehensive presentation. No, roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna. Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yeah.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you. The following, it's BB2 to BB8 are policies that are coming back for a second reading. You had these last month. They're all related to board policies. So let me go through them very, very quickly since you've had an opportunity to look at them. You have 2320. This is a special and emergency Board of Trustees meeting policy. This is primarily technical revisions that we're making. You have 2340. This is the Board of Trustees meeting agendas. 2345 is public participation at Board of Trustee meetings. Board policy 2350 is public speakers at Board of Trustee meetings, and 2355 is decorum at with trustee meetings. Policy 2720 deals with communication among board members. And finally, 5052 is open enrollment. All of these, again, are second reading. We're happy to take any questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'll ask for a vote on these.
Great. Any questions? If it's no questions or concerns, if it's okay, I'd like to vote on items BB2 through BB9. No, right?
You want to take 9
Board
separately?
policy. Oh, sorry. Yes, BB2 through BB8 as one item. Can I have a motion and a second on item BB2 through BB8? So moved. So moved by trustee Hernandez.
Second.
Second by trustee Veras. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna. Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella. Trustee Vettis.
Thank you.
And lastly, Madam President, BB9 is a recommendation for action. This is to authorize me as Chancellor, Deputy Chancellor Alva Lopez, and our Vice Chancellor CFO, Ms. Gordon, to secure a letter of credit with Bank of America. This is in fulfillment of Owner Control Insurance Program, or OCIP, requirements for insurance partner with Liberty Mutual. So this would authorize us to be able to execute notes, credit agreements, and letter of credit applications and agreements with Bank of America in support of the district's own controlled self-insurance program. So I would ask for a vote on this.
Chancellor, can I? or,
Yes.
Sorry, trustee.
Well, should we take the motion in second and then discuss, or did you want before?
I can motion it and then I
Okay.
do have a question.
Sure, trustee Vera's motions. Can I have a second? So moved. Seconded by trustee Hernandez. Discussion, please, trustee Veras.
So the choice of Bank of America of all the different kind of lending institutions, how do we make that choice? And typically a letter of credit has some cost that's associated with it. Can you tell us what those are?
Let me look at, I don't know if Director Barry has a less than a technical question here in terms of preference, and or maybe KK, if he's here, may have a little more intimate response. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chancellor. We did look into the possibility of using other banks, but we have an immediate need of having this insurance program to support the small construction firms in our projects. And the only way to take care of that in the short term is to continue this with Bank of America because they have an alignment with the insurers. But in the long term, we are looking at other banks.
So, and then, and I know the banking industry, especially in the redevelopment, social impact pieces have been modified quite a bit through the years. But I think, this is an institution that's always desired in terms of their funds to be socially responsible where possible here. At some point, if this process here could also sort of keep in mind the things and the standards we've set forward in our building program and other places to make sure that the institute, honestly, it's an easy transaction, I think in the end. But there's a lot of banks in the world. And certainly I understand the carryover and the speed of what needs to happen. And I'm glad to hear that you're considering a process downstream here. But I know we have a number that hold our accounts in different places. They do wonderful things like participate on foundation boards and are active in giving programs. I do know, B of A has done some things like that. But there are processes that acknowledge that and look to that as part of the process as well. And I hope we consider that in the future. So, but thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Points well made. Thank you, Trustee.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Lupe.
Student trustee Francis, advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Veras.
Yes.
We are, item CC was pulled. DD notice reports and informatives. Board members, there are 3 notices. No action is required. The next one is announcements. Would any of my colleagues like to make an announcement or indicate future proposed actions? Great. Item FF, public comments to address the board on non-agenda items. The First Amendment and Brown Act guarantee a member of the public the right to criticize a public employee or public official in the performance of their duties. However, speakers are encouraged to focus their comments on issues relevant to the conduct of public business rather than on any private unrelated matters. Speakers are reminded that the Brown Act and First Amendment do not protect defamatory statements made, which may subject the speaker to personal liability. Are there any members of the public signed up to address the board on non-agenda items? Yes, I have. First is Marguerite Petrosian. Is that person? No. Marguerite, are you here? If not, I will go. There's a Margot with her hand raised. That might be Marguerite. Marguerite? Okay. So next I have Manjarez Jacqueline. Belle Brandon. I think the next person has their hand raised. Asalesian Liana. I think that's the hand raised. Hi, you'll have 3 minutes to address the board.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Liana Salesian, and I'm an A&R assistant at LAVC. On behalf of my fellow colleagues and myself, I want to sincerely thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here today and to have our voices heard. We truly appreciate your time, your leadership, and your willingness to hear our concerns. We are here to request a job description and salary study of the admissions and records assistant position across the Los Angeles Community College District. This request is about ensuring that our job classification accurately reflects the work we do and the critical role we play in supporting students and maintaining the integrity of our campuses. Just as importantly, it is about being fairly compensated for the scope of responsibilities we carry every day. The current LACCD A&R assistant job description defines the position as performing a variety of clerical duties, such as processing applications, posting grades, handling transcripts, and explaining admission policies. While these tasks are still part of our work, the reality of our role has grown far beyond clerical responsibilities. Today, A&R assistants are expected to perform tasks that require critical thinking, independent decision-making, and technical expertise, including fraud detection and identity verification. A&R assistants are carefully reviewing student applications, cross-checking multiple data points such as IP addresses, and identifying potential fraudulent activity. A&R assistants are manually fixing applications that require analytical thinking and decision-making to manually revoke, delete, and discontinue applications. This process is not handled by the district and requires admission staff to manually fix the student's program, including conversions from non-credit to credit applications, error troubleshooting, and manual matriculation. A&R assistants are analyzing complex system error reports, correcting career and career programming issues in PeopleSoft, and systems cannot resolve automatically. Athletic eligibility. A&R is supporting student athletes in meeting eligibility standards and coordinating with multiple departments to ensure accurate records. Technical support and virtual student services, troubleshooting password resets, verifying student IDs for those who are unable to complete ID.me, and supporting students through virtual platform such as Cranium Cafe. These responsibilities are essential to maintain accurate student records, ensuring compliance with federal and district regulations, and supporting student success. Yet, none of these expanded duties are reflected in our current job description. Our current classification no longer aligns with the level of expertise, attention to detail, and decision-making required to successfully perform these responsibilities. Thank you for your time. And Margaret Petrosian is next to me. There was an issue with her unmuting herself. Can she continue or?
Sure.
Okay, if Margaret, if you can continue, please.
So, Margaret, yeah. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, Margaret, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Margaret Petrosian, and we're here to request an A&R assistant job description and salary studies. There is a persistent misconception about our work is limited to basic data entry, routine tasks that seems easily automated. In truth, our responsibilities are far more complex and essential to the integrity of the enrollment process. The official job description maintained by the Personnel Commission is outdated, written during a time when we used the DEX system and did not face the overwhelming volume of the fraudulent records that now rival legitimate student data. Despite our scope and intensity of our work, we remain understaffed, under-recognized, and underpaid. We're paid less than the student services assistant and student services representatives. Our efforts to seek job description and job salary have been consistently denied. Individual and district-wide requests were rejected by the Personnel Commission. At every step, we're encountered obstacles with no clear path forward and no clear direction, nor assistance by the district. While in that we who have struggled for years just to be fairly compensated for the work that we do, while the admissions and records supervisors receive an 11% raise without facing the same audits, scrutiny, or endless hoops that we are forced to endure. Our duties now include critical thinking, fraud detection, correcting system and human errors, faculty support, and technical troubleshooting. Far beyond that is reflecting in our current classification. These responsibilities are vital to maintaining the accuracy and security of the student services across the district. We also face the high turnover among the new hires, who often leave before completing training due to the demanding nature of our role. This instability further strains our ability to maintain constant services support for students. We respectfully urge the board to support our request for job description and salary study. This is not just a matter of the fairness. It is about aligning our roles with the district evolving needs and ensuring that the staff who uphold the integrity of our enrollment process are properly recognized and supported. We did have submitted the report to Personnel Commission. We worked really hard for 2 months. We did not hear anything until we contacted them, and still nothing. So we're trying to ask the board to support our cause and our
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next I have Angela Johnson, and then I have Beatrice Alcala and Rhonda Guess, and Luis Primavera. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Bell and Manjarez Jacqueline, is that the two of you? Gotcha. Please, you have 3 minutes each.
Hello, I'm from Admissions and Records. I'm proud to be part of this office. This is where students first begin their journey entering in, and they also finish their journey with us on graduation basis. However, on behalf of all A&R assistants, we are requesting a reclassification for our duties. Some of the expanded duties that are currently performed and not listed in our LACCD job description. Some of them would be like assisting, streamlining the faculty assignment processing by working closely with personal and academic affairs to resolve duplicate faculty accounts at PeopleSoft. Our role involves identifying duplicate records, merging accounts, or deleting unnecessary applications while maintaining accurate system records. Another one would be responding to faculty emails and phone calls on various faculty-related inquiries and providing guidance on a range of faculty portal transactions, processing grade changes in lieu of grades, administrative transactions, incomplete grades, and other related transactions with enrollment resolutions, processing block enrollments based on faculty errors, adding and dropping students through block enrollments to correct class sections that have programming errors from academic affairs, collecting manual mandatory exclusion rosters, active enrollment rosters from the faculty, explaining related policies and procedures, processing mass transactions due to scheduling corrections, correcting dates on student milestones due to counselor errors, generating permission numbers and providing the list to faculty with no access, processing administrative transactions such as late withdrawals, section transfer, and reinstatements due to faculty errors, collecting and forwarding grade and enrollment transaction cards to academic affairs for approval from the area dean to later process when the approval is received, creating and updating guides on different faculty transactions to provide systematically and as needed, providing student information, class information to faculty per request, receiving district reports on a weekly basis addressing outstanding faculty rosters such as mandatory exclusion rosters, active enrollment rosters, positive attendance, schedules and related documentation, sending periodic reminders to faculty with outstanding rosters as mentioned above, assisting all mentioned above in person via email, online, Zoom, or Cranium Cafe. And these are just some of them.
Thank you.
Oh, good
Hello.
evening. This is my first time addressing the board, so please bear with me. I know what I want to say, but don't know what how I want to say it at the same time. But I've heard several things throughout the course of this day that have like resonated loudly with me. The gentleman to my right, I heard speaking about the due process here with the Los Angeles Community College District. As one of the previous speakers stated, we have been trying for quite some time to get this done, and our attempts have been continuously kicked back by the Personnel Commission with really no reasons given at all. One time I actually submitted one, and this was probably 2017, 18 or so. I was told that mine was given back to me because it had previously been submitted by someone on another campus. Now, at this point, I'm not even sure if the same people within the Personnel Commission that were responsible for ensuring that these, position audits or things like that happen is still in the position, but there seems to be a constant rollover in the denial for the A&R staff in particular. And we need the board to kindly assist us with seeing that this can get done. Because as my previous coworkers have been saying, we're doing a lot now. I've been here since 2005, and the job is not the same now that it was back then. And there are even duties and responsibilities that should be handled in other departments by employees that get paid a significantly more amount of money than we do, and those duties are kicked back to us. Or we're like the checks and balance system for these people, which would basically be the equivalent of me coming to board meetings, checking the board on what you guys do. And that shouldn't be the case. So we're trying to get this reclassification done. And we're constantly told what we do is so valuable, it matters, we're respected. That sounds good verbally, but in practice, it's just not happening. And we need you guys' assistance with this.
Thank you. Okay, so now, Angela Johnson. Hello.
Yeah, hello. In all transparency, I needed that extra time to charge my phone. So I could get my little statement up here. Okay, so I've been up here quite a few times, and I don't mean to be sarcastic, but I just want to be real. Okay, so there are other places that I would rather be, but there is no better use of my time right now than to be here standing up for free speech, unencumbered student press, and especially the 96-year-old award-winning LACC collegiate student newspaper. So this is the best use of my time for that. Last semester, the journalism program and students were dealt several administrative blows that could have devastated a lesser group of journalists and a lesser professor than Rhonda Guess. They could have never, a lesser professor than Rhonda Guess could have never led us student journalists through the academic battlefield that the spring 2025 turned out to be. The actions of the Bama dean and chairperson caused harm to students. They took the magazine away. They juggled the schedule of classes like tossed salad. They confused students by causing schedule conflicts with the said changes that I just mentioned. And they took away and then gave back 185 and 285, which are independent study courses, and surreptitiously they did it, I will add, and that caused more confusion for students. So, and in the process of all that, yes, students were harmed. Students were harmed. That's the point of all this, of what I'm saying. Students were harmed. Aspiring media professionals were harmed because they didn't get the experience of writing for the magazine. They didn't get the units to be eligible to receive scholarships and fellowship opportunities. Undue pressure was applied to our fabulous professor, having her jump through rotating hoops and clear hurdles that were reserved for her alone. And they tied her hands and told her she was not allowed to take action to reach out to more students. And Professor Guest continues to give us her best. And we win awards, regional and national awards, because of that. and of course, because of our own talents as well, but definitely because of her leadership. What do I want? I want the LACC journalism program to be treated like ELAC, to be treated like Valley College, to be treated like the Pierce College journalism programs. We deserve the same resources and respect that those journalism programs receive. We are the first journalism program in the district. We are the oldest program. We are the beacon. We are the leaders. LACC Collegian student journalists, we are the leaders. We deserve a repair. Give us back our magazine, make it once every single year without exception. And if enrollment grows because of that, offer Journalism 220 every single semester. Give us back the public relations courses and let us have more courses like ELAC and Valley College and Pierce College journalism programs. Please don't let this happen again. I beg you. When we come to you, please listen and make that one call to your colleagues that could influence them to do the right thing.
Thank you. Next, we have Beatrice Alcala. Rhonda Guess.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's nice to see you all. I have some good news. The College Media Association of New York has recognized 8 journalism students from LACC with the association's highest honor, the Pinnacle Award. Students will travel to Washington, D.C. next month, once you sign the paperwork, and they will be recognized for their work in 24-25, but particularly this spring. Jeremy Cuenca, Emily Gomez, Juan Mendoza, Erica Ramirez will be recognized for their work in broadcast media for protesters hit by LAPD rubber bullets in downtown LA. Amy Schenk is a finalist for Serious Features, where LACC swap meet vendors and residents squared off over permits. Beatrice Alcala, a designer, is a finalist for newspaper layout and design, front page, and Angela Johnson and Serena Zakis are finalists for general series for their stories on Deep Cuts to Journalism program by administration at LACC. Judges reviewed more than 3,000 entries to decide on 5 places in 18 categories. It's encouraging that students were able to achieve some modicum of success, while 34% of their courses were cut between December 2024 and the spring of 2025. Journalism students suffered arbitrary scheduling of classes for 4 months that burdened the First Amendment and chilled free speech. Awards help students win recognition. They are recruited to university programs. They rise. It's the promise of public education made real. California has resources, and we should make sure those resources flow to students. Then they win. Like this. Where else but California would you have something, a magazine like this, where only 4 colleges and universities in the nation were recognized, and LACC was one of them? Why do you have to have fights to produce this? This is meaningful to our students. It helps them. Please do not endorse the censorship that unfolded at City College. Bring back the Collegian Times Magazine. This helps students. If anyone wants magazines, I have.
Thank you. I have Luis Primavera.
He's not on.
Okay.
Zoom.
Alfred Newell. Hello.
Good afternoon, members of the board, and thank you for this opportunity to meet you today. My name is Al Newell. I'm the general manager of the Climate Tech office here in Los Angeles, and I briefly want to highlight our ongoing concerns about bond-funded public bids of building management systems. Under the Build LACCD facilities design guidelines and standards, LACCD is committed to open competitive procurement. standards, as I know it and understand, are utilizing minimum standards that have been developed collectively with facilities and planning. Specifying a group of preferred products listed in volume 2 of district specifications, campus specifications matrix. This allows us consistency for the facilities team and also allowing competition. Despite these provisions, the BMS procurement at ELAC has been keeping bidders to a single source, single company, excluding many qualified brands options that are explicitly permitted in the district's open specifications. One specific instance is the design build project at ELAC Kinesiology, Wellness, and Athletic Complex. At bid time, the contractor's documents listed 3 products: Honeywell, Johnson Controls, and ABB. Facilities director sent an email to the Build LACCD team requiring ABB to be used on that project. The email was forwarded to the general contractor, the mechanical contractor, and although we have provided a spec compliant bid, the mechanical contractor said that he had no choice but to use ABB and proceeded to use a sole source of the other vendor. We diligently reached out through the proper channels, including multiple meetings with the build team and its director. However, the meetings went nowhere and the decision was made by facilities, which proceeded to award the project without further input or competitive review by permissible options. Simultaneously, we're under contract for another ELAC project, the nursing building, where we requested to change our BMS material from Honeywell to ABB. This request was again in the form of an email. The email from facilities was sent to Build LACCD and the GC, and then down to the mechanical contractor. The only difference this time was the inclusion of an attachment. The attachment extolled the virtues of the ABB product line against the Honeywell product line. The attachment was not authorized by anyone else at LACCD, but was not authored by anybody at LACC, but was authored by one of our competitors, a ABB distributor. When we provided a chance for them to use our ABB solution, through the email chain, we were told that we could only use a single source ABB provider.
Last few comments.
Yeah, I just respectfully request that the board review whether the procurement process followed by LACCD and standards enables fair competition and give us a chance to keep bidding our projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last we have Rolando Cuevas. Okay. With that said, are there any members of the public signed up to address the board regarding closed session agenda matters?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so the board will now recess to closed session in accordance with the Ralph Brown. Oh,
Future border announcement?
yeah, there was, but I can circle back to it.
Okay.
No, please. Sorry, so we're just gonna circle back to announcements, please.
Yeah, so I guess this is kind of regarding procurement too. So I was kind of, doing due diligence on donors and so on and so forth for my campaign. And it was told to me that, somebody I know said that they couldn't give me $500 to my campaign because procurement told them not to. So that because even if it's like the Lavina, like the $500, that it still seems like I'm being influenced. So I would like, immediately for our procurement to, put on our RFPs like Metro does, this is the law. We should not be having RFPs say that it's prohibited to give to trustees unless that's the law.
Sure.
I mean, I'm very confused. This is the second time,
Sure.
That I'm hearing this and that, my previous supporters are telling me.
Okay.
If we can't accept the $500, then just tell us.
Sure.
But this is, ongoing where I'm doing my fundraising and people are telling me this, hey, I don't want to get people in trouble. I don't want to throw people under the bus, but we're scared to give you. So,
We'll follow up with.
can we take care of that? Because it's really getting annoying.
Trustee Vella, absolutely. You got, all three of us will convene and follow up on this.
Yeah, so
Yes.
any notice explaining Lavinac?
Yeah.
Is it, I mean, I guess the better question, is it they cannot give to us because of the RFP? I'm really confused.
I will just say, we really appreciate the comment. This is something in terms of an ongoing education. I think the district is doing everything that we can to be transparent and make sure that all the correct information is being provided. So I'm looking at the chancellor. I think the chancellor is looking at us to say that we will meet and we will make sure we'll have a conversation
Yeah,
about this.
maybe a legal opinion and memo.
Yeah.
To us, so I can share with my campaign, because, you know, it's becoming very embarrassing to call people, supporters, people I've been, you know, I almost feel like I'm like doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think it's not, yeah, we'll follow up.
I actually have the person willing to, you know, talk to you.
We'll address it internally, but a memo might be okay to clarify, Trustee Vella. And
Yeah,
then,
I don't want to discuss this ever again. I
Yeah.
think this has been like the third time that I've talked about it, and, you know, it's just.
yeah, I was not aware, but we'll follow up.
We will
We'll
definitely
address it.
follow
We'll
up
make
and
sure we'll-
also look at examples of other
Thank you,
entities.
appreciate
Yep.
it.
All right, we'll do.
Okay, with that said, we will now recess to closed session in accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act, Government Code Section 54950, establish an education code to discuss the matters on the posted closed agenda item pursuant Government Code Section 549.5. Are there any objections? No, hearing none, we will now go to closed. Thank you, everyone.